Okay, everyone, so this is Morgan, and I decided to start making videos. Um, my original plan was, if y'all don't know me, I like to write poetry, and so lately I was thinking, oh, maybe I can publish them and things like that. But it's kind of hard since you live like in a small town and things like that, and you don't really know anyone publishing. So I decided that I'm gonna start voicing out my poetry and poems that I write. Maybe if I, get the word out there and things, maybe people will start listening to them and they could, help me out a little bit or something like that. But the first video that I'm making now is just gonna be like an overall view of myself and things like that, and the journey as to where I am now. So, so it's gonna talk a little bit about my life and things like that. Okay, so I'm Morgan, and I'm 16. I was born on March 16th, 1999. I was born here, and I guess you can say I was like raised in Texas because ever since I was little I always lived in Texas, and we visit my grandparents there and things like that since I was like really young. So growing up I thought it would be, oh, it's life, I'll grow old and just die, not really knowing what's gonna be out there and things like that. I just thought life was gonna be all happy and things, but God dealt me a different deck of cards than what I expected. There's like a lot of hard stuff in my life, just growing up with an abusive dad that didn't treat us right or anything, because it was just me, my mom, my sister, and my dad. But he did drugs a lot and things, so my mom like divorced him, and so he's no longer in our life anymore and things. So just growing up with just me, my mom, and my sister, we had like a small family. So, and going to school and people say, oh, me and my dad hung out and things like that, and not really knowing my dad and things. It was kind of hard because you hear all these stories about kids with their dads, but no one ever heard about me or anything like that. So that was kind of hard. And then just growing up not knowing where your dad is and things can be hard, and it can have quite a bit impact on you. People without dads would understand where I'm coming from. So and then going to school, I was like a huge troublemaker. I skipped school, got into fights at school. I was like, the bad one at school, getting in trouble and everything with the teachers, lying to them, stealing, things like that. I thought it was like pretty cool doing it, but now looking back on it all, it was like, did I really do that? Like, how can I have done things differently? But at the same time, it's like, and maybe if I didn't do those things, it wouldn't be the person who I am today and things. So yeah, I used to just lie and get out of school. I'd say I go to the bathroom and just walk home and things like that. Faked a black eye once every time I got into a fight, and that was picture day at school, and I didn't feel like getting my picture taken. I showed up with pajamas and a fake black eye, and I was like, yeah, I got into a fight and I just left school. They didn't really care or do anything about it. There was another time I told my mom I was going to school, but I went to a friend's house instead, and so she found out, and then I get my butt whooped. But yeah, me and my mom were like really close. We like did like a lot of sports together. We were in the kitchen a lot. Like, she taught me how to cook and bake, and so like It was kind of hard back in 2013. That's when like she found out she had cervical cancer on February 14th. And so I was like, I really didn't know what to do because I was at school and my grandfather came to pick me up with my sister. And I'm like, guys, what's happening? Because she said that her appointment was in the morning and she's still there at 3 o'clock. So we're like, you know what's going on? So we finally got to the hospital, and I remember my mom was on the corner of the sidewalk just crying, and so my sister hopped in the back seat. My grandfather picked her up, and then we stopped in that parking lot, and my grandfather and my mom, they went to the back of the car and they were talking, and they still haven't told us what it is. And I just turned to my sister and I'm like, it's cancer. And she's like, don't say that. But I kind of already knew in a way. And during that time when she was having pain, she asked my sister if like it's okay for her to go to the doctor, but she would always ask me, and I'm like, no, just take some medicine and it'll be okay, things like that. But in the back of my mind, I kind of knew it was really bad, but still to this day I kind of feel bad that I didn't let her go to the doctor sooner. And so when she found out that day, she took us home and she sat us down on the couch and was like, well, I have cervical cancer and I'm going to be starting radiation and chemo like next week or something. And so my sister started to cry, and then I was just really mad and like mad at myself. And so I just walked out and didn't go home that night until like really, really late at night, just trying to clear my mind and things, just trying to take it all in. So I came home, and then the next day I went to school and I was like trying to put on, a happy face, but I knew one teacher there that had breast cancer, and so I just pulled her aside and I told her. And so we had chapel that Friday, and so I guess she told the priest that about my mom, and said the whole school prayed, and it was kind of like a relief, but at the same time it's like that's not gonna cure her cancer or anything. And I kind of felt bad because I never went to like any of her radiation or chemos. It was just her and my sister, and I didn't want to go because I didn't want to see her like in that pain or anything. So I just went to school. And so as time went on, March 16th, that was my birthday, and we didn't really get to celebrate because she was sick and everything, so I just kind of like stayed home and helped my mom out with everything she needed. And then time went on, it just got worse, and then on May 29th, 2013, that's when she passed, and my grandparents from Texas came down a little bit before that. And so we were already kind of expecting it because I was doing counseling with like all my problems because I had like really bad anger issues before my mom even found out she had cervical cancer. So I was in counseling for like 2 years, and so we finished our session, and then my sister got a call, was like, you need to get to the house, because you could hear like her like when she breathes, like she does that like gargling sound or whatever. And so I felt like that night, that's when like we knew she would all die. But I didn't really say my goodbyes. I just saw her on her deathbed. Everyone else was saying their goodbyes, but I just kind of like took a step outside to, I guess, not show anyone how bad I was hurting. So my grandparents in Texas, they decided that they're gonna either, if she doesn't die, then I go to school, but if she does, then we just sleep in. So I remember that night, that morning, it was like 9:14. That's when they woke us up, and they're like, your mom died at this time at night. And that's when like, and they just left the room. So I was like, okay, and then I turned to my sister and I'm like, I guess we're moving now to my grandparents here. So we spent like 3 days just moving and everything, trying to still wrap my head around it. So, yeah, and then we decided that we're gonna just live with my grandparents here, who also helped. And, I tried to pretend like I really wasn't sad or anything, but I really was. I went into like deep depression, started cutting myself, thinking like maybe if I just die, I could be with her, trying to commit suicide and things like that. And I really wasn't healthy or anything. I was still in counseling, but I never told anyone about my problems really. And so my sister found out that I was cutting, so I told her, you can't tell anyone about this, especially not my grandparents. But like my counselor was the last one I thought she'd tell. So we went into that meeting that Monday, and so it was kind of odd that my sister went and talked to her, but I thought maybe she just talked about, my mom dying and things like that. But that wasn't the case. She told my counselor that I was cutting, and I had to sign this thing with my counselor that I wouldn't ever cut again. It was kind of hard because it's like taking drugs from someone who's been doing drugs for like 10 years, just like stopping cold turkey. Like everyone believed in me that I could stop, but it was like myself that was holding me back. So it was like a struggle at first. I'll admit that I did do it after I signed it. I stopped now, thankfully. But I feel like all those things that I've been through has like got me to where I am today. And so many people that I've met in my life has like inspired me and changed me in good ways. I mean, I'm doing good in school, not skipping school, not getting in any fights or anything at school. I'm actually making like A, B honor roll things. Let's see. I'm not cutting myself for committing suicide or trying to commit suicide anymore. I feel like I have like a better understanding of life now, and that life's not gonna be all good. It's gonna be full of good, bad, and the ugly. And so now I've been volunteering at a kids shelter for a year and a half now, and it's helped me a lot also get through my problems that I've had too in the past, year and a half. So things are going okay now. I mean, I'll always miss my mom, but I know that she's with me every step of the way, just like God is. And I think that she's like my guardian angel and things. And she gets me through every day because she's just like a God to me. But yeah, that's basically what my life is. I'm happy now and things. But I wouldn't ask to change anything really. I'm kind of happy where I am now. I have a great sister, great grandfather, and grandmother with my little cat. Yeah, things are going great. And so the upcoming videos will be more about my poems that I write and reading them and like breaking them down and talking about. So this one was just, covering my life and things, and like how God has got me through where I am today. But yeah, that's kind of it. I just thank God every day for where I am right now. Has like a huge part in my role, and so do a lot of other people too, who have got me through, like friends, family, even teachers. People who I've just met once or twice has helped me a lot too. And it's amazing how if you think back on things, you're like, they can actually change my life. I mean, some of the teachers where I go to now, they have helped me a lot, and they've actually inspired me to become a teacher when I'm older, like go in the teaching field, which I think that's really great because where I was like